If I want to speak to you,
Yeah.
happy to make an appointment.
Sure, I want to ask you about ball and chain. What's wrong with your ball and chain? Why do you harass
You should
people?
go.
These are all homeless people.
This is Alexander News Show with Alexander Carlos. We go after the news.
Tell me what's up with this whole climate change thing. What is your opinion on the climate change?
What? Hi everyone, this is Alexander Carlos with the Alexander News Show. And I am here with, to my right, on my side, and to the left, on your side, with perhaps the next Miami-Dade mayor. And I say this because you never know. The next mayor of Miami-Dade County, con el skipper, Miguel Quintero. En español se llama así, and in English, the skipper. That's how you
skipper.
prefer to be.
Yeah, just skipper
named.
in English.
Awesome.
Pero en Spanish es más fácil decir el skipper.
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Pleasure.
And this is Alexander Carlos again with the Alexander News Show. You can catch this video. It's pre-recorded later on. It'll be posted on all the platforms of the Alexander News Show and on the podcast. All the information of Alexander News Show, where you can find them, is below this video. And that includes podcasts. iHeart Podcast Network is the main one, and Spotify. And of course, the YouTube channel is Alexander News Show, and then all the other social media platforms. Pleasure to meet you, sir. So, let's get to it. The first thing you will do if you are elected mayor of Miami-Dade County, what will it be? What will you be doing as your first duty?
First things first, we got to remind the people that public officials work for them. So I'm going to put a live camera in the mayor's office 24/7. It's not my office. It's not the mayor's office. It's the people's office, and they should know what their employee is doing. And that's very important, that the voters and the residents, they understand that your public officials, they have a lot of power, and the culture has changed. It's in Miami-Dade County, in America, but more in Miami-Dade County, where these politicians think that they're above you. In fact, they don't think it. They know they're above you. We need to change that culture back, and you do that by putting a camera up in the mayor's office, so that you don't have to worry about, do I have to trust my mayor and my elected officials. You know what that elected official is doing at all times. You know what I'm doing at all times, and that's the idea. Put the power back in the hands of the people.
I actually love that idea. That's going bold. What's the second thing you will do?
Second thing we do is we teach the electorate, we teach the voters how to recall their public officials. And in order to, there you go, because they make it very hard. You have a small window to collect signatures. So what I would do is set up events every month where we call them First Amendment audit events or First Amendment criticism events, where you can come out, the voters can come out, and we just want to hear criticism. And you can do it however you want. You may get 5 seconds, you may get 15 seconds on stage. We throw these events where you can get up there and you can tell us what you think, how you think the government is operating, how it's working for you, working against you. Tell us where we're getting it wrong. And there we will circulate the petitions to recall the elected officials that are not doing what you demand that they do.
And you know what, Skipper? Hope I said it correctly. There's a lot of elected officials that deserve to be recalled. I've got a few of them, but I'm not going to mention their names. So that's not a bad idea. And what's the third thing you will do if you become elected mayor of Miami-Dade County?
Investigate the investigators. So, for instance, code enforcement is being taught, and they're being trained by a company named FACE, and I believe that's Florida Association of Code Enforcement. This particular company is teaching and training code enforcement officials to go onto private property without a warrant, without your consent, and search for violations, because this is another way of taxing the community. This is another way of generating income for the government. But have they not heard of the Bill of Rights? Well, in Miami-Dade County, under Daniela Cava, Bill of Rights be damned. This is not America in Miami-Dade County. This is a banana republic, you know, and we need to change that. And that's what I aim to do. So the third thing will be investigate the investigators.
And you know, it's interesting that you say that, because I've been posting pictures of, basically, I called her Fidel Cava. And I got the body of Fidel Castro and I put her face on top of Fidel Castro's body, because that's what she is. Fidel Castro, but in a woman, Fidel Cava. Yeah, Fidel Cava. And so let's talk about Miami-Dade County Transit. What would you do to fix Miami-Dade County Transit? Because Miss Cava, she revamped the entire transit system and put it back 30 years, back to the Stone Age. What will you do if you become elected mayor? How would you fix transit?
Well, for the transit, first I have to approach the electorate. So for instance, for you, how often do you use the public transit system?
Personally, I never use it, but there's a lot of people that I know that use it, and they depend on it, and they rely on it. And I see riders in the bus stops going through trouble trying to catch a bus.
Correct. Our transit system down here, everybody knows, is garbage. And a lot of it is because a lot of people don't use it. And we're not going to be New York, or we're not going to have the transit system like New York does. The culture is pretty well established. Most people have their own vehicles. Now, we do have to have mass transit. There's no questions about that. You have to. In fact, to me, it's constitutional that you have to. People have to have the right to be able to commute. You know, and there has to have access to commute. But who's using the transit system? And it tends to be the ultra poor, unless you're in downtown Miami, which I think it runs well and it makes sense. That does well. When you live out in Kendall or down in down closer to Homestead, we have that transit system. I think that's great and it works. I think the Metro Rail works well, and we need that. But the bus system, it needs to be rethought. And in all fairness, and to be fully transparent, I don't know enough about it, except that I know it's not being used as efficiently as it can be used. And we have to get out there with the electorate and ask them, what would your ideas be? Because I don't know, and that's the whole point of investigating the investigators. We have to go into that department and investigate the use of it. It seems like a lot of homeless use it. I know personally that I know of women who have been assaulted on the public transit system. And when I say assaulted, it's also visually assaulted, where you do have individuals doing inappropriate things on the transit system.
Yep.
You know, so these are the things that we have to look into, and how much money do we want to put into a transit system that the majority of people may not use? It still has to exist. But the best thing that we can do is talk about it. So it's perhaps I should be using the transit system as the mayor, you know, and let's see how it works for me. But I guarantee you, I'm going to be waiting half an hour for a bus.
No, you got people that are waiting ever since Cava put her hands, and if I'm not mistaken, the union, which is one of the strongest unions in Miami-Dade County, that runs the Miami-Dade Transit, which are the drivers. I guess they got in on it too.
Yeah.
People are waiting up to an hour and a half ever since the changes. And I'm sorry, viewers. I forgot the name of this new, the whole initiative that she changed. I think you're aware of it. I'm not sure, but when she changed it, she made it a new name. She put dressing on it, and it just became worse.
Well, that's the whole thing. I don't even know about it.
Yeah.
Because it's not a sexy thing to know about. It's not something that regular folks are using in Miami.
By the way, people are walking more blocks to get to their bus stop because she changed all the routes.
There is an argument to be had that we should consider ride sharing, where people are given. Let's get rid of the entire bus system, for instance. And I'm not saying I'm going to do this, but it is a conversation to be had. You get rid of the whole entire bus system, and now you do a ride sharing allotment. So think of a company like Uber or Lyft or Miami-Dade County can have their own kind of app or whatever, where every taxpayer gets a certain amount of miles a day. And it may be use it or lose it. But if you do something like that, now you have a vehicle that's coming to you where you are, taking you exactly to where you are, and your taxes pay for that allotment. For those who don't use it for work because you have a personal car, now you can use it when you go out to the bar or when you go out to the club or something like that. And I think that could mitigate drunk driving, because at least 50%, but the vast majority of people who drive drunk don't do it intentionally. And these are doctors and lawyers and professionals of all sort, you know, and it's because it's not convenient to take a public transit system. But if we create a culture where it's like, okay, your taxes are already paying for public transportation, and you have your car when you go to work, because that's the vast majority of people. But let's say at least you're going to the bar, you know, and you're going to go somewhere local, or you want to go to someone's house and you know you're going to go out drinking. You have a tax, you're paid your taxes, your allotment. Let's do the ride sharing thing, where we can keep the roads safe from making a bad decision of driving drunk, because it becomes very costly around the board, whether you intend to drive drunk or not drive drunk. Once you drive your car somewhere and you do drink and you're thinking, okay, I can't drive home. Well, now you got to leave your car there where there's a cost for that. Then you got to take the ride sharing home where you're paying that separately from your taxes. Then you got to take a ride sharing back or get a ride back to your to the car and get your car out of there. Then you're taking the risk of your car being towed if it's not in the right place. The whole idea is, if we're going to make the transit system fair, we got to have a conversation. Is it really working for everybody? And it's not. I think it's working for a small percentage of the people, but it does have to exist, because the lower income people, communities, have to have their access to transportation. You know, and us in the middle class and the upper middle class and the elite here in Miami, we have got to recognize that that part of the community is our family.
Of course.
And we want to look out for them. Yep. And we may be able to do something where they get a little bit more of a...
And a lot of them are taxpayers too.
Of course they're taxpayers. And they have to have access to be able to go to work. But it's a conversation to be had. But I think the bus system in general has to be rethought. I think the rail is great. Past administrations and past referendums have passed that, and that's great, and it works really well. I think the people mover in downtown Miami works extremely well, but the bus system in general, we need to talk about that. And this is where in office I would have these debates with different experts and people from the community like yourself, especially journalists, where they can get the word out there. Hey, what do you think of this? And we can talk about different scenarios. And
that's why I asked you the question of what do you think about the Miami-Dade transit system as a whole?
It's garbage.
And so this is Alexander Carlos with the Alexander News Show. Este es el show del Alexander News Show. Puedes encontrarnos a nosotros en todas las redes sociales de Alexander News Show y el podcast también, que principalmente iHeart Podcast Network y Spotify. Y estamos hablando con el candidato y quizás el próximo alcalde de la Miami-Dade County. Se llama el Skipper. ¿Cómo se dice? El Skipper.
El Skipper.
El Skipper. Y me encanta todo lo que tiene aquí en su casa. ¿Quieres hablar un poquito de tu negocio?
Sí, bueno, nosotros somos volante aéreo. Flying Trapeze. Yo tengo una compañía de circo y soy productor de espectáculos de circo. También hago músicos y bailarines, soy bailarín también. Hago un poco de todo en los espectáculos. Pero aquí en la casa yo tengo el swing set o el trapecio y doy clases de flying trapeze, en inglés se llama, pero trapecio volante. Y le enseño a todo, cualquier que quiere hacer, le enseño cómo volar, como tú lo ves en el circo, cuando tú vas a un espectáculo de Ringling Brothers o de Cirque du Soleil, si tienen trapecio, bueno, yo enseño cómo hacer eso, y si lo quieres hacer una vez, bueno, lo puedes hacer una vez.
Muy interesante.
Por tenerlo aquí en la casa, también, si para la gente que tiene negocio de la casa, yo defendí, me dieron una multa, porque Miami-Dade County dijo que no puedo tener negocio como yo lo tengo en la casa, pero hay leyes por el estado de la Florida que dice sí lo puedo tener y el alcalde no puede hacer nada. Bueno, me dieron la multa, lo defendí en el corte y lo gané. Entonces, si alguien tiene un negocio de la casa y el condado te está dando problemas, tú me llamas. Tú me puedes llamar al 305-801-4676 si quieren.
Y voy a poner ese teléfono abajo otra vez de este video. Este entrevista está pre-recorded, lo voy a poner después y toda la información va a estar abajo de este video y otra vez puedes encontrar Alexander News Show en todas las redes sociales y podcasts. My next question is, what inspired you? I already know the story, but the viewers want to know, what inspired you to want to run for mayor?
Very good. So, and I appreciate that question because that's an important one. The reality is I didn't want to be the mayor, and I still don't want to be the mayor. And people are like, why are you running for office if you don't want the office? I do it because I don't believe anybody else can do a better job. And I need to make sure that Cava loses. We do not have the freedoms we deserve as Americans in Miami-Dade County. We are headed toward a socialist, and this is particularly under Canada. We can't say it under some of the other conservatives, and I openly support all the other conservatives, candidates, I'm sorry, because they are conservative, and they have a better understanding of what the Constitution of the United States means. Yeah. Miami-Dade County has always been known as a banana republic, but we are not. We are part of the United States of America, and we do have a Constitution and a Bill of Rights that we follow and we respect. Well, I am suing the county. It's only fair that the viewers know. I am suing the county in federal court for constitutional violations. But I need to make sure that Cava does not get a second term. I'm okay if I lose. If I do win, though, it's because you have earned it as the voters. You have come out and said, I want this crazy guy over here because it's the Wild West, and he's the one who can rein in the terror and those criminals. By putting a live camera in the mayor's office, because I'm not interested in being a politician. I'm going to laugh when the next mayor tries to take it down, because I would have already taught you how to recall that mayor when they try to take down your camera. That is your office. You should know everything that is going on in that office. There is nothing private in the public sector. Now, there are private conversations to be had with business owners and residents. That can go to a separate room, but at least you know who came in. And you know that, hey, this is important, this is private, we have private information, we're gonna go to this separate room, but you know what's going on. But Cava is my main reason, and that, if I may transition,
yes, please, sir,
to Cava and what she does and my evidence that she is lying to you. So on her Form 6, which is a form that we sign as candidates and elected officials, but candidates particularly for this one, the Form 6 is something that the voters voted on, and they want to know what the net worth and of each candidate is, plus anything that they own that's valued at over $1,000. Well, Danielle Levine Cava in 2013, and we'll show that here on the property appraiser's office that you can go to. Just Google property search Miami, hit the little blue button box that says property search, go to the owner name tab and type in Danielle Levine Cava. You will be able to see her home and see where she lives and the property surrounding it. You can also see how much she bought her home for in 2013, according to the property appraiser's public record. This is not something that's defamation. This is actually public record. She bought her home for $1.05 million. Last year, 2023, she paid taxes on a value of $475,000. Now, you tell me how that happens if you're not a corrupt politician. Most homeowners that have a home with some property are paying more in taxes than our mayor, who, according to her Form 6, is worth $12.8 million. And mind you, when you go back in time to 2013, she was worth just above $4 million. So it really does pay to be a public servant.
Wow.
She has made over $8 million in 10 years being a public servant.
Wow. Holy crap.
And here's the big one. When I was talking about perjury, right here, when she signs this form, and you can see how thick it is because she has to list everything that she owns and what she's worth and all that. So right here, if you go to her Form 6, you can go down, and the way that we were, and I'm a candidate, so I had to do the exact same thing, and you can see mine as well, my Form 6, and all you got to do is Google Form 6, State of Florida, put in my name, and it will take you directly to that, and you can put in Miguel Quintero or Miguel Skipper Quintero. For her, you put in Danielle Levine Cava. But on her Form 6, you'll see the residence. We were directed to list the fair market value of our home, of our residence, where we live. Not our percentage of what we own, no. It is specifically told that we are to register the fair market value as you would see on Zillow. She listed the fair market value of her home at $525,000.
Wow.
10 years ago, she bought it for $1.05 million, but somehow it lost half its value in 10 years after the boom. That is, and she signed this form under threat of perjury. Perjury is a felony in the state of Florida.
By the way, a house loses value in Miami-Dade County, the hottest real estate market in the entire United States.
I'm telling you right now, public corruption is a real thing.
Yeah.
I have detectives for the public corruption units for Miami-Dade County that have done a report, and it's being withheld. I was promised a report. This was last year. I still have not received the report as a public record. They're withholding it because it is undeniable that I caught public officials lying under oath. And you can find it on my YouTube channel, and forgive me for plugging it.
By the way, say your YouTube channel, please.
Thank you. My YouTube channel is Miami Circus, and you can go on there and you can see some of the videos I've done where public officials lie under oath.
By the way, the link will also be under this video.
And
of his YouTube channel.
Thank you. And the DA will not prosecute, and we know this. This is all old news, but Catherine Fernandez-Rundle will not prosecute public officials. But it is a felony to lie under oath it is perjury. I'm sorry. It is a felony to lie under oath, and yet I've caught them doing this. Now our mayor, Daniela Vincava, has lied under oath. She knew full well the value of her home is not $525,000, and yet she put it that way. And she does that because, and I know this because this is what I was thinking about. Well, what about, that means she might be doing that for the IRS, for her taxes. And she has to have harmony. She has to have consistency. So she's banking that nobody reads this because nobody does. And I get it. This is all tedious stuff. That's why the election cycle is exciting, because people like me, people like Alex, other candidates, we come out and we're the ones who dig in and find the dirt and bring it out to the public to see. But it's you have the right to see what we have found. She's a liar. She's committed perjury. She is a criminal, and that is undeniable. Yeah. And we're just waiting for someone to prosecute her, which, of course, we know Rundle won't.
And I'll tell you, and I'm going to lead you one of my last questions, and this is going to be the interesting one. This is Alexander Carlos with the Alexander News Show, iHeart Podcast Network, Alexander News Show YouTube channel, and all the other social media platforms. And I'm going to put Mr. Esquiped, his YouTube channel link, and his phone number as well under this video. You know, there's something that Rundle has in common with Cava, and of course Mr. Reyes as well, and that is that they're represented by the campaign manager, am I saying it right, Mr. Christian Over. Over represents Rundle, Cava, and now Reyes. They're all friends, they're all in on it. That's why Rundle will not prosecute Cava. Of course not. So tell me the story about Mr. Christian Over. You mind if you explain your story, please? So
I announced my candidacy in March of 2023, largely because I called out the mayor the previous year about public corruption. And since I voted for the mayor and I supported the mayor and I loved this mayor, and I was very open and vocal about that. I thought she would take a meeting with me. I am an influential person. She should take a meeting with anybody. But I thought, okay, I am part of this elite crowd. I don't hide it. I don't lie to you guys. I know my standing in society. I am part of that elite crowd. I didn't start off that way. I worked my way towards it, and I continue to work my way towards it. But I thought she would take a meeting with me. She did not. When I called it out publicly, that's when the citations started coming. They gave me 7 citations. I've already beaten 4. 3 are going to be 1 in appeal. And that could be for a whole different video. But that's my whole reason for running. So when I called her out, she didn't give it to me. I announced in March. I called Christian to possibly be my campaign manager. He told me he could not. But then I explained to him why it was important that I meet with the mayor, that all this corruption had to be nipped in the bud. She's the one who can make it happen. He was like, I'm willing to talk to you. Let me come to your home. So he did. He stood up here with us, basically where we are right now. Where Alex and I are. He stood up here with me. I'm sorry, not with us, but with me, where we are right now.
And he sat right where I'm sitting.
Essentially, he stood, but essentially we were in this area up here in the treehouse. This is a treehouse, as you can see.
Beautiful one, by the way.
Thank you.
Beautiful one, by the way.
I love to spend my time up here. My wife and I play up here, and I let everybody know how my wife and I play. Nobody's business, but this is our playset. That's a very private matter. We do have fun though. But yeah, so Christian and I, we did end up having a conversation up here. He came to the home and he told me, listen, if Cava is willing to meet with you, it has to be very hush hush. You know, if she comes here to your house and she fixes this, would you consider dropping out of the race? I said, absolutely, but she has to fix it.
Oh my God.
But I told him absolutely. I have no reason. I don't have no desire to be the mayor of Miami-Dade County. This is a shit job. It's a 24-hour garbage job. It's not worth it if you're going to do it the right way. And instantly, the moment I become mayor, half the county hates me. And it's like, what did I ever do to you? I just became mayor, because that's the political arena. That's just the world that we live in.
It's a shitty job.
It's a shit job. You know, it's 24/7. You get the blame for everything. Why would I want this job? You know, so genuinely, I don't want it, but I will do my part to help our mayors of, it doesn't matter if they're conservative or liberal. I will do my part to help where I can, to show when I find corruption, nip it in the bud. You know, so he says, if she's willing to come up here, it'd have to be very hush-hush, and she fixes your problem, would you do it? I say, on one condition, of course. She has to fix my problem, but she has to fix it for everybody else as well. Then I will not run. I will back out. As long as she fixes that for everyone else, I'm good. But it would be incredibly selfish of me to say, if you fix it for me only, I'd be a hypocrite, and I can't be that. He goes, no, it'd be for everybody else. I was like, done deal.
So Christian Overt, Cava's campaign manager, also the campaign manager for Kathy Fernandez-Rondo.
Correct.
Came here to your house.
Correct.
He also sent you some texts, right?
I have the text messages. We won't release them just yet.
No, okay, no problem. And there might have been is there anything else that shows that might have...
There was a phone call that I have recorded as well.
Okay. And so Mr. Overt came here, just to be clear, came to your house. And very hush-hush.
It was very hush-hush. And you got to understand, I hate that I have to do this to Christian, because Christians, I like Christian. I'm not up against Christian. I'm calling out Cava. I understand Christian's part of her team, but this is politics. Christian as an individual is a beautiful person. I love him. I
don't know him, but
I didn't get to meet his husband, but the way he described his husband, I love him and his husband. I love the relationship they have, and I think he's a beautiful person. This is not personal towards Christian. This is personal towards Cava. Cava waged a personal war against me, and once you're backed up into a wall, there is no flight anymore. It's fight or flight. That's the response you get. There is no more flight. Now it's fight, and the fight is on. And I'm letting you know that I've investigated Cava, because that's my promise to the people. I will investigate government, and Cava is a criminal. Cava doesn't pay her fair share of taxes, and yet she's raising your taxes. That's what I have right here, right now.
Yeah, she has raised the property taxes. I've gotten complaints from a lot of my viewers that the property taxes have gone up.
Because and you got to understand, the property appraiser is a different department, but everybody's value goes up, and you are homesteaded, and there's stuff like that. And she's going to try to come out and say that she hasn't raised your taxes. Okay, you tell me, are you paying more in taxes? That's what it comes down to. There's a litmus test. Yeah. Are you paying more in taxes? Because I know I am. Yeah. She's saying, no, the millage didn't go up. The millage went down.
A lot of people are paying more.
And yet everybody's paying more. But she is not. Go look at it for yourself. You can see where she lives. Go, just put in her name. I can give you her address.
Do you mind if I pull it into the screen?
You can pull it in, but you can put in, but you can type it in when you edit it. So and I'm going to give you all of this. Okay. This one we can pull up, but I would ask that I can hold on to this one, because
no, it's okay.
I can show you how to get it. They have a way of changing public records, so I have this one. Unless I just
want to put it into the camera. This.
Oh yeah, put it into the camera
right here.
But if you look right there,
right here,
you can see her address. Yeah, but right here. Hold it right there, real slow.
Real slow. I'm right here. Here, I'm just gonna do it like that.
That's a public record. So you can see her home address. Pop that into the property appraiser's office, so you can see what she pays in taxes.
Yeah, right.
You can see what she bought her home for.
Beautiful. So,
and I'd like for her to explain that one away.
So, Cava, Daniela Levine Cava offered to come here to the house.
No, Christian offered for Cava to come in. Cava never came.
Okay.
That and then, and so of course.
Sorry, I just want to get it straight.
Right. So she never came. I text Christian a couple times afterwards, and he just ignores me at this point. And I was like, Christian, I'm
and by the way, I'm sorry for interrupting. I did see the text message of Christian Overt texting Mr. Esquipen.
Yes, right.
I did see the text, but Esquipen is not ready to release the text messages yet.
No, not yet. Okay. They will be released, but not yet.
So he came here offering to try to fix this issue.
If I'm willing to drop out of the campaign.
Very hush-hush.
It is very hush-hush. It's not illegal. You know, it's not. But it does look bad.
It looks terrible. It looks bad on Cava wanting... Was Cava aware that Christian Overt came here?
Cava's aware of anything. Christian's her right hand. He's the campaign manager.
And so...
Cava's aware. She knows full well who I am.
Just real quickly, before this interview ends, what's the issue? What was Mr. Overt offering, Cava, to fix if you dropped out of the campaign, basically?
Citations.
The
16
citations.
citations.
Citations for what?
Running
Sorry
a
for
home-based
asking.
business.
Okay.
So they try to say, so this tree house that we're in, they said that this is a second home. And it's not.
Yeah.
So I got a citation for this.
It's not, guys. It's not a second home.
I tried to get a permit for it as a play set because that's what a tree house is, and that's allowed. And actually, a play set is exempt from a building permit. I was trying to get a zoning, a ZIP permit, so a zoning improvement permit. They denied that. They said this needs a building permit, and it needs an architect, it needs an engineer, and it needs contractors. Literally, the state of Florida has statutes that says if you own your home and it's a single family, 2 family, even up to 4 family home, but if you own a single family home, you can be your own architect, you can be your own engineer, you can be your own contractor, and the county cannot require that you hire one. Well, Miami-Dade County requires it, unless you're Cava, because that's another thing too. I made a video that they got. So there's something called owner builder permits, but Cava got her solar panel permit in 2022 within 8 days, which doesn't really give a lot of time for someone to. And it was an owner-builder permit by her husband, Robert, that pulled it. But within 8 days, they got the permit approved.
That guy is another character, Robert.
Right. But the whole thing is, they gave me a citation for operating a business without a certificate of use. Clear statute from Florida says that the Miami-Dade County cannot regulate home-based business, and that state statute 559.955. Then they gave me a citation, and this is all retaliatory because it came 3 days after I called out Cava and the commissioners publicly. So I did it on Tuesday. By Friday, I was getting the warnings because they still do have to give warnings. Then they give you citations after that. But they gave me a citation, a warning citation, because the citation did come after for my trailer, which is allowed by code for the business. Then the swing set itself, which is what we call the trapeze, but the function swing set, completely exempt from building permits, yet they want me to have a building permit for it. For a shed that was built with the house, it was already permitted, but yet I got a citation for it. So it's clear retaliation. It is disgraceful. But she doesn't think that the people are going to fight back. And she miscalculated that I will fight back.
And that's what I love about what you're doing. I feel like inspired by what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. And there is a formula that the county has and Cava does have. They know that if they give you $500 citations, it's way easier for you to say, okay, I'll pay the $500, just tell me what I got to fix. And they tell you, oh yeah, just screw in that light bulb a little bit more. That it's so bogus, the citations that they're giving you, but it's cheaper for you to pay the $500 than it is to hire an attorney to fight it, even though you're in the right. This is a formula. There is a formula about how much they can lose the taxpayer money in lawsuits. All of this is calculated. They know these things, and they make way more money by issuing you these illegal citations, and that's what she's doing. And I'm the guy who's telling you, I'm going to put an end to that. And it's not the way to do things.
Do you have any idea how many tree houses I've seen in Miami-Dade? I drive all day as a journalist all around this town. There's hundreds of tree houses all around Miami-Dade. And this is open. There's no door. This is not a house. I can attest to that. And this is a legitimate home-based business, what you got, because I've seen it. I can see it. It's a beautiful scenery. It's disgraceful what you're doing, Daniela Cava, because I personally don't want you to get re-elected mayor of Miami-Dade County. It's a disgrace. And to understand very simply, Mr. Christian over coming here, and you're aware of it, coming here and saying to you, drop out of the race, Skipid. Drop out of the race, and I will make sure Miss Daniela comes here very silently and tells you and gives you her word. Hey, we're not gonna mess with you anymore. We're gonna basically waive those citations, and I'm gonna make sure that everybody else that has the same business or anything similar to what you have, Skipid, becomes legal. We pass some laws, whatever, all in silent. That's pure corruption. In my opinion, that's illegal, even though it's legal. No, I think it's illegal.
That's right. I agree. I mean, that's it.
Skippen. Miguel. ¿Cómo se dice tu último nombre? Quintero. Está corriendo para alcalde del condado Miami Dade, sur de la Florida. This is Alexander News Show, el show de Alexander News Show, la entrevista con el skipper. Y puede ser que él pueda ganar. tú nunca puedes decir no, ¿ok? Muchas cosas en la vida ha pasado. Y es posible que tú puedas ganar porque tú tienes una buena actitud, tú tienes una buena visión. Puedes encontrar esta entrevista después, lo voy a editar. Y en Alexander News Show Podcast y todas las plataformas, está abajo, la información abajo de este video. Y esto va a estar en todas las plataformas, podcast y todas las otras redes sociales. This is a skipper, Miguel Quintero, running for Miami-Dade County Mayor. It's possible he can win. And let me tell you, he's got a great vision.
Thank you.
And this gentleman here, thank you for appearing on the show.
Thank you.
The video will be appearing later after it's edited on all the platforms of Alexander News Show. Podcasts, like Spotify and iHeart Podcast Network, and all the platforms of Alexander News Show. The information, including the YouTube channel, will be under this video. And his YouTube channel and his phone number will be also under this video. Thank you for tuning in and watching this incredible interview, exclusive interview. Mr. Esquiped, thank you again for appearing on the Alexander News Show.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias. For today, June 25. Today, June 25th, right?
June 25th, yes.
Yeah, 2024. Live from Miami-Dade County, Florida. Thank you.